The Israel-Palestine conflict has now entered one of its most dangerous phases in decades. And while many people want clear predictions, a realist perspective forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. There are no simple outcomes, only difficult paths shaped by competing interests, power imbalances, and historical constraints. At its core, this conflict is driven by two nationalist movements, both deeply rooted and emotionally charged, claiming the same land and refusing to surrender what they see as their fundamental rights. Israel seeks absolute security, while Palestinians seek dignity, sovereignty, and freedom. These objectives collide in ways that make peaceful compromise extraordinarily difficult. Israel's immediate goals are straightforward: weaken Hamas, re-establish security control over Gaza, prevent a multi-front war with Hezbollah, and maintain strong U.S. support. Yet each of these goals contains internal contradictions. Hamas cannot be fully eliminated because it is not only a military force but also a political identity. Long-term occupation of Gaza is costly and unpopular worldwide. A full-scale conflict with Hezbollah would be devastating for both sides, creating risks that Israeli leaders understand but cannot entirely avoid. Israel faces a strategic environment where every option comes with severe complications. On the Palestinian side, the situation is equally constrained. Gaza's humanitarian crisis is worsening. The West Bank is volatile. Palestinian leadership is divided between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. Regional Arab states support the Palestinian cause rhetorically but avoid direct military confrontation with Israel. Palestinians want freedom and statehood, but they lack the hard power necessary to achieve these goals directly. Their leverage comes mainly from international opinion and diplomacy, which historically struggled to produce tangible change on the ground. Across the Middle East, regional states calculate their moves carefully. Iran wants to pressure Israel but avoid a full regional war that could threaten its own stability. Hezbollah postures aggressively but knows the enormous costs of a direct, prolonged conflict. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and other Gulf states prioritize economic growth and stability over war. Egypt and Jordan fear refugee flows and domestic unrest more than anything else. In realism, states act based on interests, not emotions, which explains why none of these countries are willing to fully enter the battlefield. The United States remains the most influential external actor. Washington aims to prevent a wider regional war, support Israel while quietly pressuring it, maintain credibility with Arab partners, and keep Iran contained. This creates a permanent balancing act. The U.S. will continue supplying Israel militarily, pushing for humanitarian pauses, discouraging escalation with Hezbollah, and promoting a political roadmap after the fighting stops. But despite its power, the U.S. cannot impose a final settlement. The political realities on the ground are simply too entrenched. From a realist viewpoint, three scenarios lie ahead. The most likely is a prolonged, grinding conflict where Israel continues operations in Gaza, Hamas survives in some reduced form, and the humanitarian crisis worsens without decisive victory for any side. The second scenario is limited regional escalation involving Hezbollah skirmishes, drone attacks, and diplomatic intervention to prevent full-scale war. The third, least likely but still possible, is a major regional war including Israel, Hezbollah, and potentially the United States, a scenario every regional actor is trying to avoid due to the catastrophic consequences. A final peace settlement remains unlikely in the near future. Peace requires either overwhelming victory by one side or deep compromise by both. Today, neither condition exists. Israel believes security requires maximum control. Palestinians believe justice requires maximum freedom. Both societies punish political moderates. The structural incentives push leaders toward confrontation rather than cooperation. As realism consistently shows, unresolved conflicts persist, not because people reject peace, but because the political, geographical, and identity-based forces surrounding them make peace extraordinarily difficult. In the near term, the conflict will continue. Gaza will remain unstable. The West Bank may face additional crises. Regional states will avoid all-out war, and the U.S. will attempt to manage the situation rather than solve it. Understanding these dynamics does not erase the tragedy of the conflict, but it provides clarity. And this is a struggle shaped not by hope or moral appeals, but by power, interests, and the deep historical forces that have defined the region for generations.